The following episode was recorded for my podcast, Abundant Thinking. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music, and Pandora Music. If you are somebody who enjoys listening to video or audio podcasts, I would highly recommend you check it out. Link in the description. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Abundant Thinking. Today, we are talking about 3 ways to stay motivated when trying new things. We have a lot of good examples, a lot of good ideas in this episode, so I really hope you enjoy. And we'll hop right into it. So, the first way to stay motivated when starting new things is setting specific, achievable goals. I think one of the biggest parts about this is the fact that it has to be specific. You don't say, I'm going to go do this, once tomorrow. It's got to be like, I'm going to do this thing at this time. This is what I'm going to do. This is how long it's going to take me. So, for example, instead of saying to yourself, I'm going to exercise more, you say, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week and I'm going to hit legs on this day, back on this day, arms on this day, chest on this day, etc. You guys get it. Specific and achievable goals. Also, there was research done by the American Psychological Association, and it highlighted the fact that specific goals are more effective than vague ones, especially in promoting motivation and performance. A study published in the journal titled Psychological Bulletin found that goal specificity and difficulty were significantly related to performance, with clear, challenging goals leading to higher performance levels. Sorry guys, I kind of couldn't read for a second, couldn't read my own handwriting. But what this is saying, especially specifically the study done by the Psychological Bulletin, is the fact that when you set specific and challenging goals and you actually go after them and you know what it's about, you have a higher likelihood and higher performance levels leading up to you achieving this goal. When you try to do something, you say, okay, I want to do this one thing, and you make it specific, it makes it so much easier to get that one thing done. And here's why. I always talk about this, and it's the fact that you know what you want. If you say, I want to exercise more, you're going to be like, okay, well, I can bike today, or I can hit the gym, or I can go on a walk. But you're not saying, okay, I'm going to the gym today at this time, right? If you have something set, it makes it so much easier for you, and you have so much less limbic friction to do that thing. If you say, I'm going to the gym at 1 p.m. today, I'm hitting arms, guess what? You know at 1 p.m. you're going to hit arms. It's so much easier than saying, I'm going to exercise sometime today. Because you're just going to keep pushing it back. You're going to wake up and say, okay, I should probably exercise. But then your mind's going to tell you, you can do that later, right? You don't have to do that right now. It's totally okay. And that's a big mistake that I see people make. And why this is good for people that are starting new things is knowing that setting specific, especially achievable goals is the way to go. Right? One of the biggest things I talk about, I actually talked about my friends. I talked to my friends about this too. Oh my God, guys, I can't speak. Is the fact that you don't want to say, in my personal opinion, I want to reach 100,000 subscribers by next month. I would say, I want to upload a new video with high quality every single week, right? Because that's measurable. You don't know if you're going to have a lot of viewers. You don't know if you're going to get new subscribers that week or next month or next year. You don't know. But you know the quality and the quantities that you can put into your videos. You can upload 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can upload them with the highest qualities. And that will get you to your goal of 100,000 subscribers or whatever it may be. Alex Hormozi talks about the fact that even Mr. Beast told him, if you increase your videos by 20% in quality, it doesn't lead to 20% more views. It leads to 100x more views or 10x because you keep improving it. If you can make your videos that are already doing so good even better, even more people will watch it. And that's why Alex Hormozi says a lot of YouTubers will upload less because they're trying to optimize for their quality, which I couldn't agree with more. These YouTubers are trying to increase their quality, right? Mr. Beast already has such good videos with retention. Pretend his retention is 60%, right? Throughout the whole video. He wants to make it 70%. So he's going to make his videos 20% better. And guess what? If that percentage of retention goes from 60% to 70%, the views are going to go up. That's how the algorithm works. And I can talk about this a lot, as you can So I'm getting a little bit passionate about it. But the biggest thing to know, guys, is clear, achievable goals that are extremely specific so you know how you are going to get to them. If you say, I'm going to get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the week, how are you going to do that? Because guess what? If you upload 20 times a day for, a week, even though that's going to be a little bit that's going to be a little bit difficult, you have no way of grasping how many people are going to watch and how many new subscribers you're going to get. But if you say, I'm going to upload 7 videos in the next 7 days, you know it is in your control how you're going to do that. So that's the clear and achievable goals. But making them specific is saying, I'm going to upload 7 videos. The first one's going to be about this. The second one's going to be about this. So you know you have a little bit of a baseline to go off of. The second way is thinking about who you will become if you start this new thing, right? A good motivation for me, especially now starting this podcast, is the fact that I'm going to learn a lot of different skills. I'm going to talk to a lot of very successful people, and that's something that I really want to do. Who will I become in this process of this podcast? I'll become a better speaker. I can articulate my thoughts better. I can speak to people that are doing very good for themselves and pick their brain. Now use that same mentality, but in whatever you're doing. You want to start going to the gym? Who will you be in 6 months in the gym? You'll be more disciplined. You'll be more dedicated. You'll be stronger. You'll look better, etc. Just make sure that you're able to kind of flip it to your own. It's easy for me to say that I'm going to be better speaker, articulate, and it's easy for you guys to hear me say that, but I want you to do this with your own thing. If you're starting a new business, if you're going to the gym, if you're learning how to make chairs, who will you become in the process of you learning how to, make chairs? Oh, you'll know how they work. You'll know how to put them together. You'll know different kinds of chairs. You'll have more knowledge. Knowledge is amazing, guys. You need to understand. Knowing the smallest things makes such big of a difference because you never know when you're going to need that information. So I quickly wanted to touch up on that. The third thing is tracking your progress and celebrating your wins, your milestones, your achievements, etc. This is so important. Guys, please. I used to be this person who would always be like, okay, I'm never good enough in this thing. I'm not doing good, right? There's no point in me looking back. It's, I've only been doing this thing for half a year. I'm not good. I shouldn't celebrate this. Please look back at yourself a month when you started this thing, right? We're talking about ways to stay motivated when you're trying new things. If you've only been doing this new thing for a week, if you've only been doing it for a month, think about how you were when you first started. Maybe it's a little bit of a difference, or maybe it's a lot. I know comparing myself right now, it is the end of July when I'm recording this episode. I know if it's 7-8 months ago since I started my podcast, I have made such a big difference, and I've given myself a pat on the back so many times for things that I've done because I'm able to recognize it. I speak to so many people that I'm friends with, and they're always telling me, yeah, dude, I'm doing this thing. It's so cool. Even I am telling them how awesome they're doing. They're like, dude, I don't see it, I don't think I'm doing that good. And I'm like, bro, take a step back. You're always living in the future. That's one of the hardest things for people to grasp is the fact that don't always live in the future. Take a moment in the present and take a moment to think about the past. How were you in the past and how has it affected your, current reality? You are so much better than when you started. Don't worry about the future. The future will come. It is literally inevitable. By definition, the future will come. But focus on the controllables. And don't be so hard on yourself on what you haven't done yet. As long as you're working for it, you will get there. I promise you. I promise you. Just give yourself a pat on the back. Tracking progress and celebrating your milestones is huge. I wrote something down, so hopefully I can read my handwriting this time. According to a study published in the Journal of Organizational Behavior, individuals who regularly monitor their progress towards their goals are more likely to achieve them. Additionally, a Harvard Business Review article highlights that celebrating small wins can boost motivation by reinforcing positive behavior and providing a sense of achievement. I'm going to read that again. Harvard Business Review article highlights that celebrating small wins can boost motivation by reinforcing positive behavior and providing a sense of achievement. When you celebrate your small wins, you are positively reinforcing yourself for the fact that you're doing good in this thing. It's the same thing as giving yourself a pat on the back, right? As celebrating the thing that you did good. I remember when I had my first guest on my show, I had this feeling of euphoria. I was like, I did it. It was so tough, like getting a guest. Nobody tried, like, who am I, right? Abundant thinking. Who's heard of this podcast back then? Like everybody's heard of it right now. But, when I had 0 people listening and this one guy took a chance on me. I remember the work that it took to get this person to get on my podcast, setting everything up. When I finished recording with him, I was so happy. I had this feeling of euphoria. I was like, I did it, man. I gave myself a pat on the back, and it was so nice because I recognized this achievement. Right? I'm not comparing myself. It's so easy to say, okay, well, relative to Joe Rogan, he just had I don't know, some very important person on his podcast, right? Oh, he just had Shane Gillis on his podcast. I can't have him. He would never respond to me. Do not compare. It's not about comparison to others. It's comparison to yourself 6 months ago, 1 month ago. It is your decision of what time metric you use. But I will tell you right now, if you're not able to recognize your achievements and how far you've come, you will fail and you will fall inevitably. Because you're going to be so hard on yourself and you're going to think you're never enough. Oh my God, I've been doing this podcast for a year. And Joe Rogan has 100 million more viewers than I do. How am I ever going to get there? The goal shouldn't be to be Joe Rogan. It should be to be better than who you were 6 months ago, 1 month ago, when you started, whatever it is. I think that is so important for you guys to understand. So to highlight the three things, the three ways to stay motivated when starting new things is 1, setting specific achievable goals. That way you know the direction to head into and you're not lost. Making sure these goals aren't, or more specifically, these goals are something you can track and not something like, I want to 50,000 more followers. I want 10,000 likes, right? It's, I want to post every day for a month. That's trackable. Number 2, who will you become doing this thing? If you were to start this new thing you want to do, whether it's learning how to crochet or doing something like starting a business, who will you become? What will this teach you? How will you be better? And number 3, tracking progress and celebrating your milestones is huge. If you celebrate the smallest wins, you positively reinforce yourself and you feel like you've accomplished more, which you have. Because, and this is the last thing I'm going to end off with, somebody who is super hard on themselves and never realizes how good they're doing will never be as good as the person who maybe has a small win and can appreciate it, because they will ride that wave of, okay, I'm doing good, I can keep going, okay, I can keep going, rather than this down slope of, I'm never going to be good, I'm never going to be Joe Rogan, I'm never going to be Chris Williams, I'm never going to be Andrew Huberman. So be nice to yourself, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. This podcast is not sponsored, so I would really appreciate you guys to follow, hit the bell notification icon, and whatever podcast platform you're listening on, make sure to rate me 5 stars if you believe I deserve it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.